Welcome to Your Money or Your Life. The Money Trap, the old roadmap for money. In this segment, we explore how many of us get caught in a cycle of working harder for money we don't truly need, trading precious time for material things, and following a financial roadmap that leads nowhere. Get ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about money, work, and what it really takes to live a fulfilling life. Section 1. The Money Trap. We begin by confronting a truth that many of us avoid. Money is more than currency. It is a measure of our life energy, a record of the time, effort, and vitality we invest in the world. From the moment we enter the workforce, society offers a subtle yet powerful contract. Trade your life for a paycheck, spend that money on goods that promise happiness, and repeat this cycle endlessly. And yet, for most, this promise remains unfulfilled. We accumulate, we work harder, we chase the next milestone, and still a quiet emptiness lingers, a sense that life is passing while we follow a roadmap not of our own design. Every dollar you earn comes at a cost far deeper than you may realize. Each hour spent working is an hour of life you can never reclaim. Yet the conventional system treats money as if it carries no real cost, encouraging habits that obscure the truth of our expenditure. We follow the old roadmap. Go to school, earn a steady paycheck, climb the corporate ladder, buy bigger and better, save for an undefined future. Society applauds those who work long hours, defer pleasure, and accumulate possessions, while rarely asking us to pause and reflect. What are we truly giving up in the pursuit of money? This section invites you to look closely at those patterns. It challenges the assumptions of the old roadmap, exposing how it can quietly drain our freedom, diminish our joy, and cloud our sense of purpose. The promise of more money equals more happiness is, in reality, an illusion. True wealth is not measured in numbers or possessions, but in the alignment of our spending with our deepest values, the freedom to make choices that honor our time, and the conscious investment of our energy in what truly matters. Vicky Robin and Joe Dominguez guide us to consider money through the lens of life energy. They teach us to measure the real cost of each dollar, not just in bills or hours, but in the fragments of our lives we trade to earn it. This perspective transforms how we think about spending, saving, and earning. It reveals that the power to reclaim life lies not in earning more, but in spending more intentionally, aligning every choice with our values, and questioning the cultural pressures that drive mindless consumption. As you reflect on this, consider the small choices you make daily. How many are truly conscious, guided by purpose, or aligned with your values? How many are automatic, influenced by social expectations, advertising, or habit? The old roadmap encourages repetition, automation, and deferral of meaning, but understanding its subtle influence is the first step toward liberation. With awareness, each decision, from how you work to how you spend, becomes an act of intention, a declaration that life, not money, is the ultimate measure of value. The journey this section begins is not simply about finances. It is about reclaiming time, attention, and purpose. Awareness of the money trap allows us to see that work and spending can serve us rather than control us. Every insight gained, every habit questioned, every moment of conscious choice brings a deeper sense of freedom and satisfaction. It is in this clarity that the foundation of financial independence, personal fulfillment, and a life of meaning is built. Ultimately, the money trap is not a warning against money itself, nor a critique of work. It is an invitation to pause, observe, and reflect on the rules that guide our lives. By recognizing the hidden cost of the old roadmap, we gain the power to rewrite it, to align our financial choices with our values, to preserve our life energy, and to cultivate a life that serves us fully. This awareness sets the stage for everything that follows in Your Money or Your Life. Evaluating spending, understanding the true cost of life energy, and discovering a path toward intentional living and genuine financial freedom. The path ahead requires honesty, courage, and curiosity. Yet, as you take these first steps, you begin to reclaim what has always been yours, the ability to choose, to direct your energy, and to live a life guided by purpose rather than dictated by money. The old roadmap ends here. What you do with your life energy next is yours to decide. Section 2. Money ain't what it used to be. And never was, we step beyond the surface of our financial habits to examine the deeper truths about money itself. Money is more than a medium of exchange. It is a reflection of our life energy, a record of the hours, effort, and choices we invest in the world. Yet for most of us, this connection remains invisible. We see money as a neutral tool, a goal, or a measure of success, rarely recognizing that every dollar earned represents a portion of our lives that will never return. The value of money is constantly shifting, shaped by forces we cannot control: inflation, economic cycles, government policy, and cultural expectations. What was considered a comfortable life decades ago may seem out of reach today, and yet the underlying principle remains the same. Money is a claim on life energy. Too often, we focus on increasing income or accumulating wealth without asking whether the cost in time and effort is worth it. Are our earnings leading to true freedom, satisfaction, and purpose, or are they perpetuating the endless cycle of consumption and stress? Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez encourage us to face these questions with radical honesty. Every purchase, every expense, every financial decision is an opportunity to measure our values. Are we spending to satisfy fleeting desires, to impress others, or to maintain habits that bring little joy? Or are we investing in experiences, relationships, and actions that align with our deepest priorities? By tracking spending and examining our financial patterns, we begin to uncover habits that drain our life energy while masquerading as necessity. This section also challenges the illusion of abundance. Society constantly tells us that we need more things, more income, more status. Yet countless studies and real-life stories reveal that happiness does not scale with wealth. Beyond a certain point, more money rarely brings more contentment. What it does bring is often a trade-off: time spent earning instead of living, stress instead of ease, and disconnection instead of meaningful relationships. Recognizing this paradox is a turning point in reclaiming your freedom. As you reflect, ask yourself, how much of your life is being directed by money rather than purpose? How many decisions are made unconsciously, driven by habit or social pressure? Awareness of these patterns is the first step toward liberation. Life energy, once recognized as finite and precious, becomes the guiding measure for all choices. Spending becomes intentional, saving becomes deliberate, and work becomes a means to serve life goals rather than a response to cultural expectations. Ultimately, this section lays the foundation for transformation. It challenges the conventional notion that more money equals more happiness and invites you to see money as a tool, not a master. By understanding the true cost of your earnings and aligning your spending with your values, you reclaim freedom, autonomy, and clarity. Every conscious choice brings you closer to a life where money serves your purpose, supports meaningful work, and enhances experiences that truly matter. Money has never been neutral. It carries the weight of your life energy and the expectations of the world around you. But by observing it closely, measuring its real cost, and reflecting on its role in your life, you gain power. Freedom, purpose, and satisfaction come not from accumulation, but from intention, awareness, and alignment. Each step you take in this journey brings you closer to living fully, guided not by money, but by the life you wish to lead. Section 3. Where is it all going? We step into the crucial practice of awareness. Tracking, understanding, and confronting the flow of money in our lives. Up to this point, we have explored how money represents our life energy and how conventional habits can trap us in cycles of work, spending, and deferred satisfaction. Now, the question becomes tangible. Where is all that energy actually going? How much of it is invested in things that enrich our lives, and how much is wasted on habits, obligations, or the unexamined demands of society? Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez introduce a simple but profound tool: tracking every penny that enters and leaves your life. This exercise is not about becoming obsessive or fearful of money. It is about uncovering the truth of our relationship with it. By recording income, expenses, and the value each expenditure holds in terms of life energy, we begin to see patterns invisible in the blur of daily routines. This awareness is transformative, revealing where life energy is being spent, what is truly necessary, and what is habitual or unnecessary. Tracking spending exposes the subtle ways money can slip away unnoticed. A daily coffee, an impulsive online purchase, a subscription we never use. Each small action may seem inconsequential, but collectively, they represent hours of life exchanged for fleeting satisfaction. This process encourages honesty, prompting questions that many of us avoid. Are we spending in alignment with our deepest values? Are we sacrificing time, health, or joy for things that do not truly matter? Each recorded transaction becomes a mirror, reflecting both our priorities and our blind spots. Through this practice, we also confront emotional spending. Money is rarely neutral. It carries our fears, desires, insecurities, and social pressures. Recognizing these influences allows us to reclaim intentionality. Are we purchasing to impress, to distract, or to soothe discomfort? By examining the emotional currents behind each transaction, we can separate impulse from purpose, habit from value, and obligation from choice. This reflection opens the door to conscious living, where every financial decision is a deliberate act of alignment with life goals. The exercise of mapping income and expenses is not merely mechanical, it is deeply philosophical. Each number represents hours of life energy, each choice a reflection of priorities. As we accumulate insight, we gain clarity on what is essential and what is superfluous. We see that freedom is not merely having more money, but having control over the flow of life energy. It is the ability to direct time and effort toward meaningful pursuits, rather than mindless consumption or societal expectation. By the end of this section, a profound awareness emerges. Your life is your wealth, and money is its measure, not its master. The practice of tracking reveals not only where resources go, but why they go there, and how conscious redirection can restore balance, purpose, and fulfillment. Small, deliberate adjustments, choosing values over habits, purpose over compulsion, can accumulate into life-changing transformation. Each insight into spending and life energy brings a sense of freedom and agency previously obscured by routine, expectation, or distraction. Ultimately, where is it all going? Teaches that financial clarity is inseparable from life clarity. Awareness empowers choice, and choice empowers freedom. By examining the flow of money, understanding its cost in life energy, and aligning spending with core values, we reclaim control over time, effort, and purpose. Life energy, once mapped and understood, becomes a tool to create intentional living, guided not by fear, habit, or societal norms, but by what truly matters. This section lays the foundation for transformation, preparing us to move from awareness into action, from reflection into conscious design of a life rich in purpose, freedom, and fulfillment. Section 4. How much is enough? The quest for happiness, we confront one of the most essential questions of human life. How much is truly enough? It is a question that reaches beyond dollars and cents, beyond income statements and bank balances. It touches the deepest currents of purpose, satisfaction, and meaning. Society has long taught us that happiness lies in accumulation, that more is always better, that financial security and material abundance will bring fulfillment. Yet, countless examples show that beyond a certain point, more wealth does not equate to more happiness. Understanding what is enough is the key to freedom, contentment, and intentional living. Vicky Robin and Joe Dominguez guide us to examine our lives honestly, asking, how much do I really need to live comfortably? How much energy must I spend to earn this? Where does my work serve life, and where does it merely perpetuate habit or societal expectation? By measuring our income and expenses in terms of life energy, we gain insight into what is sufficient, not just for survival, but for genuine satisfaction and purpose. We begin to recognize that chasing excess often comes at the cost of our most valuable resources: time, health, relationships, and inner peace. This section encourages us to reflect deeply on values and priorities. Enough is not a number. It is a concept grounded in clarity and alignment. It is the point at which work and spending serve life rather than dominate it. By defining what is enough, we reclaim autonomy over life energy, redirecting effort toward pursuits that nourish the soul rather than merely the bank account. Here, conscious decision-making becomes transformative. Each choice, each expense, each hour of work is evaluated not only for immediate return, but for its contribution to a life of balance, purpose, and meaning. The quest for happiness is inseparable from understanding sufficiency. True contentment arises not from accumulation, but from clarity about what matters most. It is nurtured by meaningful work, authentic relationships, and intentional living. It requires letting go of societal pressures, comparison, and the illusion that more is always better. In this awareness, we find freedom. Freedom from relentless striving, from fear of scarcity, and from the endless cycle of consumption that obscures joy. By the end of this section, we recognize that financial independence is not measured solely by money, but by conscious control of life energy. Every dollar spent, every hour worked, becomes a choice aligned with purpose, values, and well-being. Happiness, therefore, is not something to be purchased, but something to be cultivated, through alignment, intention, and the clarity to know when enough is truly enough. The practice of examining sufficiency transforms life from reaction to design, from unconscious habit to deliberate, meaningful action. Ultimately, how much is enough? Teaches that the path to happiness is internal and intentional. It is measured not by wealth or status, but by the balance between what we have, what we need, and how fully we live. By defining sufficiency, we liberate our life energy, reclaim our time, and direct our resources toward fulfillment rather than mere accumulation. Here lies a central insight of your money or your life. Happiness is not found in more, it is found in enough, in clarity, and in conscious choice. Section 5. Getting it out in the open, we confront one of the most essential principles of transformation. Clarity is the foundation of freedom. Until we see our financial life honestly, in all its detail, we cannot make conscious choices. For many of us, money is a source of anxiety, secrecy, or avoidance. We hesitate to examine it, avoid reviewing bills, or ignore the true cost of our habits. Yet every dollar earned represents a portion of our life energy, and every dollar spent reflects decisions we have made, consciously or unconsciously. By bringing all aspects of income, expenses, and life energy into the open, we gain the power to take control, redirect effort, and live intentionally. Vicky Robin and Joe Dominguez emphasize that honesty is not always easy. It requires courage to examine habits, admit where we may have overspent, wasted, or acted from fear, desire, or societal expectation. Yet, the act of transparency, tracking, recording, and reviewing every penny illuminates patterns that were previously invisible. Suddenly, abstract numbers on a bank statement or in a ledger become tangible reflections of time, energy, and values. Each expense tells a story of priorities, choices, and often unconscious behavior. Some reflect purposeful living, while others reveal habit, impulse, or the influence of societal norms. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward freedom. This section also teaches the importance of detachment and non-judgment. Clarity comes not through self-reproach, but through careful observation. We are encouraged to view spending objectively as data about our lives, not as a measure of our worth or morality. By mapping income and expenditures, we uncover the subtle ways money has guided life decisions without our awareness. The simple act of recording every transaction, whether small or large, creates a mirror that reflects not just financial behavior, but values, priorities, and the hidden forces that shape daily choices. Awareness allows us to separate what is essential from what is habitual, purposeful from perfunctory, and meaningful from trivial. Transparency fosters empowerment. When all aspects of spending are revealed, we gain insight into how life energy is being used and can make conscious adjustments. This enables us to align expenditures with values, reduce stress, and cultivate satisfaction. We begin to see the difference between spending that brings lasting fulfillment and spending that merely distracts, numbs, or impresses others. Each insight becomes a step toward intentional living. Tracking and reviewing spending creates a rhythm of reflection and awareness, allowing us to celebrate progress, recognize unnecessary drains, and design a life that reflects conscious choice rather than compulsion. The process also illuminates the emotional dimension of money. Spending is rarely purely logical. Money carries our fears, desires, insecurities, and social pressures. Recognizing these influences allows us to reclaim decision-making power. Are we buying to soothe discomfort, impress others, or fill a void? Or are we investing in what truly matters? Examining emotional motivations reveals patterns of unconscious behavior and provides a path to make choices grounded in purpose, values, and clarity. By the end of this section, the practice of getting it out in the open transforms how we see money and life. Awareness allows us to reclaim life energy, recognize where it flows, and direct it toward meaningful pursuits. Each insight strengthens our capacity to live intentionally, aligning spending with purpose, prioritizing relationships, experiences, and personal growth over habit or compulsion. Transparency transforms avoidance into understanding, anxiety into empowerment, and unconscious habit into deliberate action. Ultimately, getting it out in the open lays the foundation for every step that follows in your money or your life. It is through awareness and honesty that transformation begins. By making visible what was hidden, by measuring the cost of life energy in both earnings and spending, we reclaim control, freedom, and clarity. Money becomes a tool to support life rather than a master demanding our time, energy, and attention. In this clarity, intentional living, financial independence, and personal fulfillment become possible. The courage to face the truth, record the details, and act consciously creates the conditions for a life fully aligned with purpose, values, and meaning.